What's up, everyone? This is going to be our season 4, episode 6 review of Mayans M.C. here on Rants or Us. Overall, I will say this is probably one of the more powerful episodes we've got, not just of this season, but of really any season. When it comes to episode wise, there's some moments that really hit home. And not just moments that hit home in the show when it comes to the characters, but moments that all of us can relate to. And I'll admit, for me personally, there was the moment when it come to nails that kind of hit a little too home for me. As someone who has experienced the exact same thing with my wife, that kind of bothered me a little too much that they showed it in the way that they showed it with her miscarriage and holding her deceased baby. That was very tragic and graphic. A little too graphic for my liking. If you really, really want to get into things. But it was still, I mean, you could still say that was a moment that will leave you in tears, and it will definitely be a moment you will not forget. That is, and I think it also really changes excuse me, how we look at Angel. Knowing what Angel did with Letty in this episode, cheating on Nels while she's going through this traumatic event, this miscarriage, going through it alone, really is, I don't know how that puts Angel in a good spotlight. I kind of feel like, for a certain extent, I never was a big fan of Angel and Adelita. I always thought their relationship just kind of come on out of nowheres. I never really felt like they were, a, the perfect couple by any stretch of imagination. I just didn't really feel a connection with those two. But it seems like they always try to push that narrative, almost kind of like they push the Emily and EZ narrative. Like it just doesn't matter who Easy is with, whether it's Sophia or whether it's the previous one they was with. I can't remember her name right off the bat, but they are constantly pushing the Emily Easy, the Adelita Angel relationships. And I just kind of feel like it just doesn't work. I really thought they had a beautiful thing going when it come to Angel and Nails. I thought maybe, hey, he's turning his the way he sees the world around. He's becoming the man he needed to be. And then you see this heartbreak. And there's no doubt in my mind that this heartbreak is going to lead him back to Adelita and his child with her, which I guess I don't necessarily have a problem with it, but I just hate that might be the end of, Nails being a person on this show, a powerful figure on this show when it come to her relationship with Angel, that he just kind of threw her to the side, for Adelita in the very end, which it always kind of hinted that it was going to go that direction. So, I'm not really a big fan of the direction that it took, but I will say the moment with the miscarriage was it's definitely a scene I will not forget. It definitely left me in tears. It is a moment that only great shows have, where they push the limit, maybe even too far sometimes, but they push the limit because at the end of the day, they want you to feel something. Last episode, of course, we felt that with Coco. We felt it with the death of Coco. And, him having that conversation with Hope right before he took his last breath, that was terrible. It was heartbreaking. It was heart wrenching. But it was a moment that we will never forget. And as Mayans MC fans, we will look at that and go, wow, that was one time in television history that I really did break down, or I really did care about that character. Even if you weren't a big Coco fan, even if you're not a big Hope fan, you can still look at that relationship and go, wow, that hurt. That the death of him in that moment hurt, just like the heart wrenching moment when it come to Nails with the miscarriage and Angel. of course, sleeping with Letty at the exact same moment. That's moments you will never forget, and it will always be ingrained in my mind when it comes to Angel at what they were showing him do right when his girlfriend was having the worst moment of her entire life. So that's one thing that really was standout for me when it come to these moments. And I'll tell you, and this might not be something that anybody else really caught, or it really might not have meant anything to anybody else, but it meant something to me, and it was the Letty Hope moment. I know I've talked a lot about Hope, and I've talked a lot about Letty, this review, but I feel like with the death of Coco, we needed those moments. We needed to see um, that connection between Letty and Hope. We didn't. Those characters didn't need to be thrown away with the death of Coco. They need to prosper and continue, and not just be something. Not just be there when Angel, or let's say even Coco, needed them to be. That they could just be great characters on their own who have very touching stories. And I think Letty and Hope can do the redemption story that unfortunately Hope and Coco were not able to do. So on that, I thought that was at the very end of this, where they're hugging and they're kind of going through this grief together. I thought that was an incredibly, incredibly beautiful moment. Now, as far as going back to the main thing when it comes to Mayans MC, is Alvarez versus Easy. What on earth is going on? It seemed like episode, or really from episode 1 of this season on, it's been Bishop threatening Alvarez, threatening his position and really trying to take the club back. And then all of a sudden it's like Easy has now taken his place. Like it's like that conversation that him and Manny had this episode of, hey, they killed Coco, they attacked Oakland, the Oakland Mayans. This is a war against SOA at this point, and we need retaliation, and it doesn't matter what Alvarez thinks. Now, I feel like that is just a completely different view of how we saw Alvarez in episode 1, where he basically single handedly stopped the Mayans' war and saved Easy's life. Just for Easy to just come out there and be like, nope, 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 nope. We understand what you've done in the past. We appreciate it. But now let us handle things. I don't know if I like the way that goes. I really don't. I don't know if I like this version of Easy. I feel like when Easy is at his best, I feel like he is at his best when he's thinking, not acting emotionally. Because when he starts acting emotionally, stupid things happen. And not Tara, but Emily being the best example of that, that is when he's at his worst, is when he's thinking with another part of himself and not thinking about the retaliation, the fighting, the death, and all of that's going to bring. And I almost kind of wonder if this is setting up a a situation where he starts a war, or he gets his war, and then something bad happens to somebody that he loves, and then he realizes, hey, you know what? Maybe that talk that Alvarez had with me about dead Mayans, not wanting to see that, maybe that had something, and maybe that'll be the game changer for Easy. But I just kind of feel like Easy is just constantly going through these finding himself moments, and I'm really kind of sick of it. He's almost kind of like Thor in Marvel. It's like every movie Thor is going through this finding himself moments. And I want something different with Thor, and I want something different with Easy. I want that character to start progressing a little bit more. To not just taking, I get it, he's progressing in the club, but I feel like he's not progressing as a character the way he should. And that brings me to my next point when it comes to this. I thought there was some really bad acting in this. I really did. As much as I like to talk about the powerful moments when it come to Nails, Letty, and Hope, I feel like those were powerful moments and powerful acting abilities that that a lot of these women showed. But then the ones that are usually the main characters of this show, Gilly, Bishop, Easy, I thought had their worst moments on screen simply because their acting just was out of place. The way Easy reacted to the whole Alvarez conversation. I thought, wow, that kind of took me back a little bit. I was like, that was just bad acting. I felt like Bishop had his moments in this where that he's just the grumpy old man at this point. He's nothing. Uh, Everything about that character that was built up last season. I mean, the beautiful nature of creating what was kind of a side character in Bishop and turning him into a main character that we all could identify with was completely and totally thrown out the window this season when they decided to just make him the grumpy old man. He's pissed because his club got taken away from him. He's pissed because he lost the war that he started. I feel like Easy when it comes to this, even when it comes to, what he did to the other, groups of Mayans out there, I feel like he doesn't really comprehend specific things. He throws out accusations that maybe one of those other charters were responsible for maybe the death of Coco and so forth. And I thought that was like a crazy thing for him to do because I was like, wait a second, aren't isn't it Santa Padre the one that betrayed all of them basically? And so I thought that was a little bit out there. But I thought Gilly's reaction to Coco's death was just ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Terrible acting on his part. Absolutely terrible, terrible acting on that part. I mean, just, oh, I'm pissed. I'm just going to throw some tables around, and then that's going to be it. I felt like there was too much. They wanted blood. And I felt like there was not enough of maybe an internal conflict that maybe was on the other side other than Alvarez saying, wait, 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 hold off on here. Because I kind of feel like it's the club against Alvarez at this point. Really do. And it seems, and I don't like that. And I don't like how Alvarez, who is top dog when it comes to everything, just completely and totally bent over and allowed Easy to take his chair, to become president, basically, to tell him what they were going to do, that they were going to war at this point. Alvarez is completely lost. He's absolutely completely lost. I don't know if they can bring back that character anymore. I really don't, to what he used to be. Almost this untouchable figure that everybody seemed to respect and love. And I just feel like it's gone now. And I feel like it's all Easy's fault in a lot of different ways. And I say all Easy's fault, but it's some Bishops as well. But it's just overall, there was some moments this episode that just left me wondering what could have been if only they would have maybe perceived it better, maybe added some more conflict internally when it come to this Mayans versus SOA war. Something along those lines would have been great for me. But I just feel overall, uh, probably the ones that I complain about the most here on Rants are Us, like Galindo, his character especially, I thought had a really good moment. And it's kind of odd for me to say that I thought Galindo has a good moment on Mayans MC because I am not a fan of him. And it's not because I feel like he's a bad actor or he's a bad character. I just feel like he never acted like the cartel boss that Mayans MC needed. And so now, we've got this it's time moment, him making this phone call. after that boy's death. And I just kind of almost wonder, what is it time for? Is it time to be the cartel boss that he seemed to be moving past now? Is it time to go to war with the LNG? Like, what is it time for? What are we going to see from him at this point forward? I'm just curious to know when it comes to that. But it's terrible. I kind of feel like, I don't know. I say it's terrible, but then at the same time, it might be a good thing as well. That characters that I used to not really care about on this show, I care about now. Were characters that I used to really love, like Angel and EZ and Bishop. I kind of just, I don't know. They've lost my favor in a lot of different ways. And I just wonder, guys, let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. Did you feel like this was a poor episode? Did you feel like maybe this could have been done a little bit differently? I mean, I always keep going back to the Coco thing, but I kind of felt like his death was a little bit too premature to a certain extent. I would have been cool with it last season. I really would have been absolutely cool with it last season. But this season, I was just expecting a little bit more. I thought they were going to go a little bit further than what they did. I thought they were going to have a powerful moment with him when it come to, him just collecting himself and finding himself and then bringing hope along with him. And we never got that. But there's a lot of moments in Mayans MC, especially in this episode, where I had a lot of faith in characters and we never got it. We never got the follow through. Instead, we got almost a drawback from what these characters really are capable of being. And we didn't get to see Adelita. They went through all that horrible, brutal scene where she goes in there and brutally kills the people who are taking care of her child. And then we didn't even get to see her this episode. So I'm just kind of curious what they're going to do with that. I'm almost assured that they're going to go have her back with Angel by the end of this season. And we'll see the end of Nails and Angel's relationship. Easy will be back with Emily. I think they made that very clear. This Sophia is not going to be the woman he's going to end up with the phone call from Emily. It's just as clear as day. So there's a lot of things that's going on that I'm not really in favor of. I personally, while I thought the moments were incredibly powerful and memorable, I felt like the acting really brought it down in a lot of ways when it come to Gilly, Bishop, and EZ. I feel like there was some really good moments, but I felt like there was enough bad moments that really caused me to really think negatively of this particular episode. But anyways, guys, let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know. And as always, guys, y'all can catch us on Rumble and Minds as well. Thank y'all so much for watching. Y'all take care.